Hello, and welcome back to Excel Skills for HR. This is Module 1, the Excel environment. We're going to be talking about several different things during this module, like an introduction to the Excel workbook and spreadsheet, opening a dataset. We're going to talk about the toolbar and functionality. We're going to teach you how to save a file, headers and footers, preparing to print a file, actually printing the file, and then selecting only one section of a worksheet to print. So let's get started. First, what we want to do is give you a bit of an introduction to the Excel workbook and spreadsheet. And what I've done here is just simply opened up the Excel formula or the Excel program, and you get a generic book. And really, Excel workbooks are just a bunch of rows and columns where you can input data, formulas, text, and other things you need to put in the cells. And if we scroll down, you can see the scroll bar here on the side goes to the bottom and it gets smaller. And you can just scroll and scroll and scroll. So these workbooks can really be as long as you need them to be. And of course, as you scroll over, the first several columns go to column U, and you can continue to scroll over for as many columns as you need as well. You also note that columns are denoted by letters, starting with A, and rows are denoted by numbers, starting by 1. So you'll oftentimes hear people refer to, if they're talking about an Excel spreadsheet, they'll refer to, for example, cell A3 or D8. When you click into the cell, you can see that the row and column are highlighted over on the side. So if I click on cell B5, which is right here, you'll see B and 5 highlight. You can see that here. Also, the Excel workbook has different tabs across the bottom. So if you want to add a new tab, for example, you want to create a formula, and we'll talk about these kinds of things in future modules, but if you want to create a formula in one sheet and reference it into another, all you need to do is push on the plus button down here and it will give you another sheet. In order to rename the sheet, so for example, if you have one sheet with all of your data on it and another with the formulas, you just simply double click, it will highlight the sheet name and you can just start typing. So let's call this sheet data. And you then click anywhere in the Excel sheet to move from renaming the cell. The other way that you can do it, instead of double clicking, if you right click and go up to rename, it will do the same thing and you can highlight it here. And let's call this one formulas. And you can also hit enter and it will take you back to the Excel sheet. Really, that's the intro to kind of the Excel spreadsheet, how it's set up, and the things that you need to know. So let's get in, and we will get into all of the toolbars and the formulas and all of those things here in a little bit, but in terms of the basics of the Excel workbook, that's about it. The other thing that you can see here is various different ways to view the Excel workbook. This is the default view here, which is, they call it normal. You can also look at page layout, so if we click on that, you can see the different pages here. We'll get into this when we talk a little bit about headers and footers and also printing. And then you can also see the page break preview here, and we don't have any page breaks in our workbook, so it's showing everything as gray right now. So let's go back to normal view, and we can also zoom in and out. You can see right here 100% is our zoom level. If we zoom in, the boxes get bigger. We're now at 140. If we zoom back out, they'll get smaller. And then you can also, if you click on the percentage, it brings up your magnification menu here, and you can select any of these things. So let's say 25%, and if we hit OK, it's going to be a very small workbook, and you can see kind of all of the cells are hidden within here. They're very difficult to see. So let's zoom back out. I'm going to click here and drag that back to 100 so we can see our workbook there. So let's talk quickly about how to open our Excel file. So we have an Excel file that's posted on the class site. And so if we wanted to open that file, what I've done is save that on my desktop. So I'm going to click here on File, and I'm going to say Open. And I'm going to go to this Browse button here and click on Browse. And then I'm going to click in the folder where it's saved. In this case, it was on my desktop in a folder called Michael Walsh. And you can see it here, Excel Skills for HR Database. So all we need to do then is double click on that, and it brings up our database. And this is the database that we're going to be using throughout the class. And as I mentioned in the intro class, you can see our data fields here at the top. So work ID number, gender, work country, job title, manager of people, the employee's age, tenure, and most recent performance rating. And again, if we scroll all the way down to the bottom, I'm going to come over here with the cursor and drag this down so you can see all the way down at the bottom we have 500 employees. Now, it's on row 501 within the Excel workbook, but that's because the first row is taken up by the column titles here. So you can see row 1, we have our column titles, and then the employees start after that. So that's it for kind of the introduction to the workbook and the spreadsheet, and then how to open a data set. And our next module, we'll do an Excel tour, so we'll do kind of the toolbar and the functionality, and how to do some of the things that I've highlighted here today.